Hey guys, welcome to Melanin United. This video, we're going to talk about the Nigerian elections. And man, I've been making videos. I've been dealing with sickness and just a whole bunch of stuff. So I haven't been able to make any videos in a while. But I wanted to make a video before the Nigerian election, but I was really sick. I wanted to make a video and say the Europeans are getting ready to interfere in the Nigerian election because you see how invested they are in it. All these mainstream media from the European countries, like the DW from the German media, French 24, France's media, BBC, the British media, CNN, the U.S. media, the USA media. These people, these people interfered in the election. I promise you, they interfered in Nigeria's election. We know what's OB won. We know everyone. We know majority of Nigerians want OB to be the president. The youths, and it's been a record coming out. Over 90 million people registered to vote in Nigeria. A whole bunch of youths. Because people are tired, man. Do we know how rich Nigeria is? This is the third most producing oil country in the world. So much mineral resource in Nigeria. Oh my god, these people interfere way too much, man. Nah, that's bullshit. This is why you've seen them so focused. You've seen all these observers coming to Nigeria, these international observers, these US observers, these British observers. What are they doing there? Do we have Nigerian observers go to the US election? Do we have any African observers go to the US election? Why do they keep bringing their observers there? All they're here to do is interfere. I'm telling you guys. They send black people, black sellout, black coons, puppets that work for them in the U.S. to come to Nigeria to act like, oh, she's just an observer. Her name is Stacey Abram, but she does nothing for black people in America. She's there to interfere. Oh my goodness, man. This is why you keep seeing the U.S. and the British and all them talk about peace. We want Nigeria to be a peaceful election and all that. We've seen video of the elections polls closing early and not letting a whole bunch of people vote. What's that about? What's that about? Exactly. There's also Nigerians talking about they casted their votes. They casted their ballot, and then the voting people would cross out the name and put out a different name. That's the kind of cheating we're talking about. There's even proofs in the last Nigerian elections and other elections that Israel has been interfering. Those proofs have been coming out. These people can't stop interfering in African elections. I knew it. This is what I was gonna say. I was trying to make a video 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, before the election even. I was trying to say this right here was Africa's most important election. This is the most populous country in Africa, over 300 million people. This election is very important. This election was very important, and they know that. That's why everyone was looking forward to this one. I was really looking forward to this Nigerian election and then the South African election, because those two elections are very important for Africa, because these two elections can start the revolution, can make other African countries all wake up, because if Nigeria gets what they deserve, a good president, and then to stop all this Boko Haram stuff that's the US and the British created. They're the ones that created the CIA. The U.S. CIA is the one that created the Boko Haram. All these people are here to destabilize our country, our continent. They're here to pay sellout puppet presidents to steal resources, and they just make our countries disaster. They pollute our countries. You see in one of those cities in Nigeria when the water's all brown and stuff like that's bad. These people want Nigeria to stay like that. They want Nigeria to stay polluted, destabilized, Boko Haram, all this corrupt stuff, because Nigeria has way too much oil. And not even just oil, they have lithium. And you see that devil Elon Musk trying to ask Nigeria if they can mine their lithium. Get out of here. And the Nigerians said no. If you make a manufacturing place in Nigeria, okay, but no, you're not gonna do that stuff where you guys just take out our raw materials, without it being processed or anything in Nigeria or in Africa. So yeah, I promise you guys, these people interfered, and Obi knows they cheated. Most of the Nigerians know they cheated, so Um, these institutions in Nigeria are corrupted. How, like, nah, these institutions are corrupted. You've seen the a lot of the independent institutions get burnt down. So are the institutions working for the European, or were they trying to do the right thing, and and the European paid people to threaten them by burning their building down? But all I know is this: the British and America interfered, and probably the France and the Germans and the Israelis too. But specifically, the British and Americans interfered because uh, Britain gets the most money from Nigeria, and then America's after that. Think about that. Remember, Nigeria is a British colony. Nigeria was not even supposed to be a country. Remember, it was a corporation, right? Well, and when the British were stealing all that money, they're still stealing all the money, but now the Americans have joined not too long after. But it's been the British colony from beginning, right? So they're the ones that have been taking the most money out of Nigeria, interfering the most in Nigeria, and then now you have America join them. They interfered. They created Boko Haram, and they're just stealing oils. I forgot the exact amount of number, but thousands of barrels every day in Nigeria get stolen. How does thousands of oil barrels every day in Nigeria get out the country illegally? Like, there's been, what's it called? There's been oil fossils, oil lids that's been found opened, not even closed, open, so people could come sneakily steal oil and ship them off. And the Nigerian military was very mad at that, rightfully so, as they should be. Shell, all these companies, Shell, and all these other oil companies that are in Nigeria that's stealing so much. This Dutch company named Shell is the one that steals the most oil from Nigeria. And then the other U.S. companies. But you just notice how focused all these white media, white countries, these European countries from the U.S., the Britain, France, Germany, all these media was so focused on the Nigerian elections, talking about it has to be peaceful and all that, and then they're coming to observe. What are you doing observing our elections, G? That's what I'm saying. Like, this is bullshit. This is crazy, man. Like, no, man, we can't let this happen. I Like Obi said, and all the other Nigerians, we want another re-election. We want to challenge these fake, fraudulent, rigged elections that's been rigged by these Europeans, paying these Nigerian puppet presidents, like the one that just won. We know he's working for the European. I promise you, he's working for the European. I promise you, if nothing happens and he continues to be the president, nothing's changing in Nigeria. The oil is still getting stolen in Nigeria. There's still gonna be somehow destabilization in Nigeria, fights, and they're gonna keep pushing the Christians versus Muslim clash just to keep stealing and fueling that stuff. That's how you know. That's how you know if this election was rigged. If this president stays, the president that they so called said won the election, the cheap election, that they say, if that president stays as the president of Nigeria, this how you know, family, this how you know they're working for the European, if nothing changes. So if the European does not say anything bad about the president of Nigeria, he's working for the European. If if thousands of oil barrels keep getting stolen from Nigeria every day, that's how you know he's working for the European. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy, man. And I'm going to be monitoring this very close because I'm pissed off right now. Very pissed off. These people don't know how to stay out of our country, our continent. They don't know how to stop interfering. This is why this is why we need to sanction them. I swear to God, this is why we need to unite. We need to make the AFCTA, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, that they keep trying to distract us from doing. That's why we need to implement that. And if these people keep interfering in our elections, then we have to sanction the U.S. We have to sanction Britain. We have to sanction Germany. We have to sanction France. We have to sanction Israel to show them to stop interfering in our elections. Because this is crazy. This is getting too much. I knew they were going to interfere in the election 3 weeks before. I was trying to make a video and warn Nigerians, get ready. They're getting ready to interfere. Because why are they so focused? You got to realize Nigeria has the most people in Africa. Nigeria has the most oil, second, third most oil in Africa, and like third, fifth most oil in the world. Okay, Nigeria has all these other mineral resources, lithium, all these other resources. This is why Nigeria, there's a lot of corruption, a lot of, this is why Boko Haram somehow is there. Like I said, all these groups the Europeans create, and they pay, they sponsor. Where do they get their guns from? It's from these criminal Europeans. They have to be held to account, man. So this Nigerian election, we better check this fraudulent, rigged election and make it fair. We know Obi won. Like, stop. Majority of the youth, majority of people on the ground wanted Obi, so we know he won. That's why there's a record number of Nigerians that registered to vote. More than 90 million. You've never seen that before, because people are tired of suffering from their country being corrupted, all their wealth getting stolen, while there's no jobs in Nigeria, while some cities or some towns, like, I don't know the specific town's called, but we all know it. That town where it's like the whole water there is brown, and people are on boats trying to get to the other side of the town, other side of the place, but on a whole lot of dirty water, because that's how much they've been drilling in Nigeria and polluting. They've been stealing all these oil and just polluting. They don't care. That's what the Europeans have been doing. People are tired of that, man. And Nigerians don't even benefit. People are tired of that, man. Like, this country is so rich if we use our resources. And that's why they keep cheating and rigging, because they want their puppet president to be there so they can keep stealing oil, keep destabilizing Nigeria, keep stealing other mineral resources. Oh my God, man. That's why I can't wait for March 20th for South Africa to shut down. Because I said, if Nigeria or South Africa wake up, the whole continent's going to wake up. If Nigeria, South Africa, or Congo even wakes up, but specifically there, right now, I'm talking about Nigeria, South Africa, if they wake up, whole continent's going to wake up. So the European has been trying to contain Nigeria, contain South Africa. Well, obviously contain all of Africa, but specifically they're trying to contain Nigeria and contain South Africa. I'm so happy South Africa have the EFF that's going to shut down South Africa on March 20th, because the EFF is an organization that does not work for the European or anything, and they have majority of the country in South Africa. Like, the EFF should have been president a while ago, but the European has been rigging the elections. That's the truth. He's been rigging the election in South Africa for the last 2 elections at least. The EFF should have won. But he knows he doesn't want it, because the EFF would have taken back the lots of lands from white people and given back to the indigenous black people in South Africa. And they don't want that. The EFF would have taken the mind from these rich white men in South Africa that work with the white governments from Britain and America and all that, right? The Minels, the Ruperts, the Oppenheimers, those white criminals that live in South Africa. See, like, man, we need a recount in Nigeria. This is why I say we need to somehow make them not be able to interfere in our election. We need to have something where we know if they interfere. This is why we need to work together as Africa. Come on, guys. They've interfered in the Nigerian election. This was the most important election in Africa. We cannot let this go. We have to have a recount for this rigged, fraudulent election that has been interfered by the European. Because if we don't, nothing's going to change in Nigeria. Corruption is going to stay. They're going to keep stealing the oil, and no job's going to happen. All right, thanks, guys. Like, comment, subscribe.